This is Swiftlit, a Taylor Swift podcast with a literary twist. I hope this year has been going well for you all. Today's episode is another Teatime Edition of Swiftlit, and there's been a bit that's happened since the last one. As always, I am your host, Peyton Edwards. The end of an era and the final show. At the end of 2025, Swift released a 6-episode docuseries titled The End of an Era and a concert film, Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour, The Final Show, on Disney Plus to commemorate her beloved Eras Tour. The docuseries takes a behind-the-scenes look at the Eras Tour from its conception, life on the road, and its final days. Instead of focusing solely on Taylor like the 2020 documentary Miss Americana did, this one expands its lens to everyone who helped bring the tour to life, from dancers, choreographers, band members, crew, and other members of the Eras Tour team. I really enjoyed getting to see how Taylor's creative process works when it comes to the elements of bringing a show to life and working things out. When incorporating the song Florida in the set, seeing how it was such a collaborative process between her, the choreographers, and dancers so that the work they had created would be highlighted and seen by the fans and become the final product was fascinating to watch. I also really loved getting to hear from all of the different people involved in the show and how it was such a formative experience for them. Some of the names and faces fans have known for years as they have been touring with Taylor for a long time, while others we got to know and love over the course of this tour. It's also been a lot of fun to see what these people have done since the tour has ended and what opportunities have come because of their work on the show. The only thing I wish we would have gotten to see a little more of in the episodes were Meredith, Olivia, and Benji, since I loved the very few moments that they appeared in it. The absolute joy that was present across the 6 episodes of the docuseries returns in full force on the concert film. Unlike the Eras movie that was released back in 2023 that was comprised of footage from a few shows in Los Angeles, this film documented the final Eras show held in Vancouver. Taylor feels much more comfortable, at ease, and bursting with joy in this film than the first one, and those emotions are shared by those sharing the stage with her. Much like the docuseries, the film also highlighted the Eras family that helped bring the show to life and didn't stay fixated on Taylor for the entire runtime. I also appreciated that this film did show a bit more of the visuals that played on screen during the performances and in between the different eras. Since this was the set she did from the European shows on, there were some changes, and getting to see these new or updated visuals was neat. Also included in this film was the added The Tortured Poets Department set, and I thought the staging and visual storytelling brought the tracks to life. I really loved the transitions from But Daddy I Love Him into So High School and From Down Bad into Fortnite. With both of these releases, I'm honestly surprised that Taylor hasn't released some sort of Eras live album to coincide with them. An album of the set list, the one that made up the first leg and the second iteration of it, would be a crowd pleaser. The different arrangements and introductions for certain songs, particularly the Folklore and Evermore tracks like Tolerate It and August and Illicit Affairs, would be a delight to get to listen to on a regular basis. Taylor, if she felt like it, could even do a separate album of the surprise songs and medleys performed during the tour, which I'm sure fans would gobble right up. I know a physical vinyl copy of either of these albums would be a bit pricey, but it's something that I'd love to have in my collection. The only live version of a song from the tour that she released widely, available on streamers and for purchase on iTunes, was Cruel Summer, and that was back in October of 2023. I had wondered if she hadn't released an album of some kind back when the first film came out was because of something to do with the master situation. But now that she has regained ownership of her first 6 albums, I wonder if there might be something in the works. Both the docuseries and film are delightful and easily available for fans to relive the magic of the tour, even if we don't have a live album, though one can hope for a release in the future. iHeartRadio Awards and AMA nominations. Back on March 26th, Taylor and Travis attended the iHeartRadio Music Awards. She was nominated for 11 awards and won 7 of them, which extended her record for most iHeart Awards won. During the broadcast, Taylor was presented with the awards for Pop Album of the Year for The Life of a Showgirl and Artist of the Year by Ray, who served as the opener for the Eras Tour, and if you haven't checked out her recent album, This Music May Contain Hope, I highly recommend that you do because it is absolutely phenomenal, and by Olympic gold medalist Alyssa Liu. During her speeches, she talked about the joy she felt in her life and how it was reflected on the record, as well as urging newer artists to protect their creative process in a world that provides immediate and oftentimes overwhelmingly negative feedback. On April 14th, the American Music Awards unveiled their list of nominees for their upcoming show. Taylor received 8 nominations in total. She is up for Artist of the Year, Album of the Year and Best Pop Album for The Life of a Showgirl, Song of the Year, Best Music Video and Best Pop Song for The Fate of Ophelia, Song of the Summer for Elizabeth Taylor, and Best Female Pop Artist. If you'd like to vote for the AMAs, you can do so either on their Instagram feed or through their official website, which I have linked in the episode description. The ceremony will be broadcast live on Monday, May 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on CBS and Paramount+. Opalite and Elizabeth Taylor music videos. Taylor released a music video for the track Opalite on February 6th. It featured appearances by Domhnall Gleeson, Cillian Murphy, Greta Lee, Jodie Smith, Lewis Capaldi, and Graham Norton, all of whom were guests alongside her on The Graham Norton Show back on October 3rd. The video is quintessentially Taylor, lots of fun, glitter, and comedy packed into a neat little storyline. At the end of the video, she included a clip from the show where she got the idea for it when Gleeson made a comment about wanting to dance in a Taylor video, and you can clearly see the spark of inspiration hit her in the moment. Taylor also released Elizabeth Taylor as a promotional single, and instead of giving it a big music video like a standard single similar to The Fate of Ophelia and Opalite, she simply compiled footage from Elizabeth Taylor's life and films with permission from her estate to make up a visual. While some fans had a strong negative reaction to this video, this route makes sense to me considering that if she had done a traditional video, there might have been constraints or guidelines to follow from the estate, and additionally, the storyline for the video might be too close to Wildest Dreams or Delicate. What will be the next official single of the Showgirl era? Perhaps Father Figure, since in the Opalite video there were a few Easter eggs in the form of George Michael posters on the walls and a vinyl of his album Faith on the floor, which could hint at the possibility of that being a single somewhere down the line. I'd love to see her really dive into the story element of that track and bring the two perspectives to life visually. I also assume that the album's title track might serve as the final single for the era, though I don't know when that might happen. I could foresee another song or two in addition to Father Figure and The Life of a Showgirl being given the single treatment at some point. Record Store Day 2026. Once again, Taylor is participating in Record Store Day, which falls on April 18th. For this year's exclusive, she chose to release Elizabeth Taylor and Elizabeth Taylor's So Glamorous Cabaret version pressed on 7-inch Cry My Eyes Violet glitter vinyl. Last year, Taylor released Fortnight and the blondish remix of the track on a white 7-inch vinyl. In 2023, she released Folklore the Long Pond Studio Sessions on double gray vinyl LP, and back in 2022, she served as ambassador for the event alongside the release of the 7-inch For the Lakes. You should go out and support your local record stores, not just on Record Store Day, but throughout the year. Lots of artists often release indie-exclusive variants, and it's always a good idea to stop by and support a local business when you can. There's been quite a bit that's happened recently in the world of Swift, and there's a lot to look forward to, too. This year marks the 20th anniversary of her self-titled debut album, so perhaps there will be some news regarding the re-recorded version of that album coming sometime soon. Additionally, Swift will also be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame later this year, which is quite a big deal given that this was her first year of eligibility for it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Swiftlet. This episode was written and edited by me, Peyton Edwards. I hope you enjoyed listening, and if you did, please rate, review, and share this podcast. You know, all of that good stuff. You can connect with me on Instagram and the site formerly known as Twitter at Swiftlet Podcast. I'll see you for the next episode, which will be a Dear Readers focused on There's Nothing Like This, The Strategic Genius of Taylor Swift by Kevin Evers.